Hey guys, it's Emma. Sorry if you're a fan in the background, but this apartment does not have air conditioning and I am not turning off that fan. Sorry. So today I wanted to cover a topic that I haven't really covered in a while. And I know every time that I talk about it, I really talk about it in more of a negative way. And that would be driving with Tourette's. During my 4-month hiatus, I kind of, decided, finally, I'm gonna, put some more effort into it. And I've always been so terrified of this, driving with Tourette's, with my tics, specifically. I didn't get my permit at 15, I didn't get my license at 16 like people normally do because I was just like, I'm gonna tic, I'm gonna crash, I'm gonna die. I'm sure I mentioned around that time, up to this time, there's been times where I've kind of driven on back roads and stuff with my parents, and it's been kind of a mess, but not as bad as I thought it would be. But at the same time, I've always been thinking, I'm never gonna pass a license test because holy cow, I take my hands off the wheel every 5 seconds and I'm always blinking and doing all sorts of fun stuff. This was an added dance move to my, this was a tic, but this was an added dance move, just to make things more groovy. Not that this, I'm just letting you know this isn't a tic, I'm just groovy. Anyway, moving on. So during my little hiatus time, I actually got my permit. And in order to get a permit in North Carolina, all you have to do is just learn all of the rules of the road and then take a written test. Just went and took the test, and I got my permit that day. And so I really started to learn to drive then. It started off a little rocky. It wasn't awful. I mean, my first drive I took was to Target on the big main roads, and I feel like I did pretty well. The thing is, it's this weird thing that I realized, when I'm driving, my tics, sometimes it depends on the day. When my tics are bad or worse than usual, my driving will be a little bit jerky. I've made my mom and dad car sick more than once, but at the same time, I'm still a safe driver. It's just a little bit more jerky. I always say that distractions kind of help with ticking less. I've realized that driving is the ultimate distraction because I'm putting so much focus into my driving. So, I'm still taking my hands off the wheel to do tics from time to time, but it's not hindering my driving as much. I still have to straighten my legs at every red light. I don't straighten them like this above the steering wheel or whatever, but I kind of learned to keep one foot on the brake and then kind of straighten it into the brake, hold it down further onto the brake so it pushes down harder on that brake, and then use my use my other foot and straighten it really far above the brake in the gas pedal, so I'm able to tic in that way. So basically, I kind of just adjusted my way of life with driving to Tourette's just the same way that I adjust literally every single other part of my life to fit with my Tourette's. So, this daunting thing that's been haunting me for years, it is still scary. I'm not gonna say that it's the easiest thing in the world, but I'm adjusting to it. So yeah, no, I was driving around a bunch. I was driving every day, driving my mom everywhere she needed to be, all these errands and everything. She was loving it. There were times that were really hard and there were times that were a lot easier. Honestly, it depends on the day and it depends on what's happening during the day, where my tics will just, or they'll just, you get me, you feel me, you feel. And I told myself, I kept telling myself, I'm going to get my license before I move back up to school. Because even though I don't have a car right now up here, I'm going to eventually. So I was like, okay, I'm determined to do this. I needed as much practice as I could get. So the day before I moved up here, me and my mom went to the DMV, and I was so anxious. When I got there, I swear, I almost fainted getting out of the car. And walking towards the DMV, I felt so woozy because of how anxious I was. I was like, oh my god, this is about to happen, but then I remembered I'm in the DMV, and it took another good 3.5 hours until I even got to take my driver's license test, which allowed me time to prepare myself mentally, and I got less anxious. And then when it came around, I got in the car with the lady and I did my driver's test, and I don't know what it was. I got in this weird, relaxed, serene mode that I had been preparing myself to have. I was doing all sorts of coping mechanisms and all sorts of exercises and stuff and distractions and all sorts of things in the DMV before this happening, and then I get in the car and vroom. That kind of seemed bad, like I said vroom, like I crashed, but I didn't crash. I'm in vroom as in I did well. And I was going around driving like a little driver, a little Tourette's driver, and you know, I finished up, pulled in. This is not how I drive. I don't pull in like this, just so you know. Ha. So I pulled in, and we went inside, and then the lady asked me, she's like, how do you think you did? And I was like, in my head, I was like, shoot, girl, I thought I did great, but now you're asking me this, and I do not know anymore. So I was like, pretty well, like almost exactly like that, like a little kid, like pretty well. And then she was like, you passed. One of the best moments of my life. Life's a Twitch Emma, got my license. I never thought that I never thought I would ever get it. It's a huge deal to me. I never in a million years thought I was ever going to have a license. It's like I've always felt like, you know, like I'm an adult. I'm not really an adult because I don't have my license and I can't drive to places where I work and drive to school. Now I have my license! I don't know how I did it. I mean, I know how I did it. I was just awesome, and then like a good driver and everything and all that, and like I actually was really safe and like did everything I needed to do and worked well with myself and with my Tourette's, and like I just did what needed to be done. But I mean, also like I have no idea how the frick I got a license. They gave me a license. I don't want to show you all of my information, but I'll show you my little picture. This is me. It's a pretty cute license picture. My purple hair is fading a little bit now, but my hair was a lot more purpley on this picture, so whenever this comes in for the non-temporary one, I'm gonna have purple hair on my license, which is like pretty cool. Pretty cool. So yeah, I'm super excited. I mean, there's gonna be days that are a lot worse than other days, and days that are a lot better than other days, and there's still a lot of struggles in driving with Tourette's, but it's doable. And that's something that people have been telling me for a long time, that it's doable. You can drive with Tourette's, and I would always be like, I don't know how you guys are doing it. You guys must be like super women and super men, because I could never fathom that, and now it's fathomable because it's happened. And if you are ever thinking like, hey, I have Tourette's or any other sort of disability, sort of handicap, disorder, any sort of thing that you think is going to prevent you from driving, and someone else tells you, hey, I have this and I've done it, believe them and try your best and just go for it, because it's doable. Most of the time it's doable. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Just wanted to share that with you guys. So anyway, glad we got to talk about that. You can like, comment, subscribe to me to see more of wonderful me. And yeah, leave any questions or comments. I want to chat with you all. So thanks, Twitches. Bye.